Hello. Hey, everybody. Well, we get asked a lot about how do we start to become a witch, Wiccan, pagan. And I decided that I was going to do a video about that. And I have a list here in front of me of 20 tips that would help people out. Um, you heard me say pagan, Wiccan, witch. I separate those and for good reasons. Now, you see, I view paganism as a belief system. It is a spirituality. Witchcraft is a set of skills, and thus it's not pagan. Wicca is a form of paganism. It's one of the many denominations under the pagan umbrella. Um, I just wanted to make that clear for everybody. Now, the next thing is we got to realize that there is such a wide variety in paganism. No one system is perfect. What feels good for you might not feel good for the next pagan. So there is no one way or right way to do this. So here are my 20 tips. Number one is go outside without distractions. Paganism is an earth-based belief system, and if you are a witch, you are wanting to work with the energies in nature, and thus you need to be able to go outside, spend time in nature without any distractions. No cell phone, no MP3 player, no camera, nothing but like your walking stick and an open mind. Walk outside, feel the breeze, listen to the birds, put your hands up and down tree bark. Notice how each type of tree is different. Learn the trees, learn the different plants. You will see animals running to and from. And this is how we connect to the earth. This is actually a part of grounding and centering exercises, which you will learn later on if you decide to continue your path as a witch. Number two is find a quiet spot. Now, this is a place inside that you can go to where you're not distracted and you don't have the TV, the computer, the cell phone. It is a place where you can shut out the world and relax. This will be a place that you can use later on to meditate. It is just a place to let the mind slow down, let the mind relax and clear. This is such a hurry and hustle world where we sometimes do not give our mind a chance to calm down. And this is what drains us. So we need to find a way to shut out the world and calm down. Number three is burn some incense. Burning incense is something small, but you can do that when you're in your quiet space. You can do it when you're doing other things. It helps sets the mood. It creates a distraction. Because if you are noticing that you are burning like not champa, then you are not thinking about something else. So burning incense is a nice way to help create the mood, and if you open up your mind, then you are able to accomplish so much more. Number four is read a book. I would highly suggest to almost everybody out there to read Wicca Guide for the Solitary Practitioner by Scott Cunningham. This is a wonderful book. It has a lot of basic information in it, but if you are completely new to the concept of paganism, witchcraft, this will help you understand the basics. But once you get that read, grab another pagan book. There are so many different writers because paganism is such a vast area. You need to learn from different writers and see what works for you. This is a part about learning about yourself and everything. Sometimes, sometimes like a Greek concept just isn't right for you. It just doesn't feel right. And maybe you find out due to your heritage that you're more, let's just go with Norse. And so you would like to study the Norse mythologies a little bit more. So grab a book about them. Learn as much as you can about all the different patterns, all the different traditions. Number 5 is write about what you want to achieve. We have to explore what we want. And your intent in becoming a pagan or witch is very important. Are you wanting it to just learn magic? Are you trying to find harmony in your life? Why are you doing this? This is something that you should spend like a half an hour in front of a notebook and with a pen in your hand and just write it down. Okay? Number 6 is check out online groups about witchcraft and paganism. On Facebook, there are hundreds of different groups about witchcraft and paganism. And so you can go find the public groups and you can easily go down and look at some of the posts without even joining the groups. And if you find one where it kind of feels good, ask to join it. This would be a great way for you to interact with other pagans and pick up little bits of information. Number 7 is buy a 3-ring binder, decorate it, give it a pagan feel. This will become your first Book of Shadows. And so make it feel you. And by doing this, you will discover a little bit more about yourself. Now, when I say give it a pagan feel, I mean you're learning a little bit about paganism. So you're not going to want to put like a sticker of cats on there. If you want to put a unicorn, okay, you might want dragons. You might want to put a pentacle on there, but make it feel what feels good to you. Number 8 is buy a plant or plant something. In your room, somewhere in your house, your apartment, have a plant and take care of it. Sometimes we need that connection inside the house. And so if you do not have a plant inside, get one. Number 9 is build a small altar. Now, altars are not a uniform thing. They reflect on the person that you are. Generally, most altars would have a few candles on there, one to represent the god, one to represent the goddess, if you are following a more Wiccan path. But it should have at least one candle on it, and you can put a couple tools on there. Make it feel the way you feel. Number 10, This is, I think, one of the most important, and that is learn about yourself. Um, when we're going down this path, we have so much to learn. We're seeing so many things that are new, and some things might bother you. So you need to discover how strong you are, remove the doubts and the fears, and become stronger. Now, this is very important because when you are working with magic, you are to focus energy, you are to shape it, and you are to send it out. And so if you have doubt, you cannot establish your intent very well because you have something that's taken away from it. You can't focus it because you're afraid. So we must overcome our fears and we must learn about ourselves. Okay. Number 11, be patient. Please be patient. Don't rush into this. I am a member of several Facebook groups where I've had people wanting to rush into doing rituals, and it's just like they're going, how do I do my first ritual? I'm new. Well, don't rush it. Learn about it first. There are some traditions that require or request that you study this for a year and a day before you create your first ritual. They would like you to be a part of rituals, but not to create ritual. Number 11 is learning and overcoming the stereotypes. There are lots of stereotypes concerning witchcraft and pagans. If you know a lot of Christian zealots, they are going to tell you that pagans honor Satan. There's child sacrifices, animal sacrifices. It's all a lie. We don't do that. 99% of all pagan groups absolutely forbid animal sacrifice in their rituals, in their activities. Number 13 is check out your family history. A lot of pagans do ancestry worship. Also, by learning our heritage, we might get a vibe of what type of tradition we want to follow. As for myself, I am Scotch-Irish, and so for me, I follow a very Celtic-focused path, and it makes me happy. So if you are like Italian, you might want to follow Strega. If you are Scandinavian, you can do a Norse-based path, but learn about your history. And in learning about your history, you will learn also about how your heritage, how they followed pagan beliefs. You can find out how they were converted into Christianity or Islam, such and so forth. Number 14 is celebrate a Sabbath. I want you to take the time in doing all these things because while you're still learning and discovering, I want you to at least celebrate a Sabbath. Doesn't matter which one it is, but look at the wheel of the year and celebrate it. Okay? Number 15 is journal everything. Buy a composition book, a notebook, whatever. And when you decided that you are going to do this, every time you are devoting time to doing any of these activities, write about how you feel, what you experience. And this will give you a guideline of your journey and finding out if this is actually a good choice for you to do. Number 16 is walk a graveyard at night. Now, not a lot of people are going to suggest this one, but I highly suggest it because, witches work with energies, and we talk about astral travel and working with spirits from the other world. Well, a graveyard, especially your older ones, do have spirits from the other side. And so if you can walk a graveyard and start to get the feeling of certain energies, certain movements, maybe you feel like a cold spot, a gentle breeze when there was no breeze. This is a way to connect with the many aspects of witchcraft. Number 17 is stay away from materialism. Now, this is something that I just see a lot of, and that is people wanting to buy online every single tool that they could possibly need and really don't need to fit in. And this is the last thing you should do. Technically, to do spells, to do rituals, you don't need any tools, but they're great when you're starting off. You should make your own wand, and there are videos by myself and by others on how to make your own wands. You can buy your atame, your chalice, and all that. They don't have to be fancy. You can go to a thrift shop, and buy one. Goodwill, the Salvation Army, and you can buy a glass to be your chalice, and it costs, 50 cents. Don't get overwhelmed and spend, for me, I saw one for $147 to get a robe for just a couple rituals. Use your money wisely. And learn that you want to do this first before you put out all that money. Number 18 is look for a local group and talk face to face with people. I think this is important. I was fortunate enough where I found a small coven of pagans about 20 miles away from me, and I was able to talk to their high priestess and even attend a few rituals and Sabbaths. And I learned a lot from it, and I think those will help you. And this is also a great place to be, because if you decide that you want to continue further, you can possibly gain the high priestess there to be your teacher and to help guide you down a good solid path. Number 19 is study astrology. Know the moon phases and the position of the planets. Look at the stars. This is connecting with the universe, and the universe is a part of us, and we're a part of the universe. But most importantly, a lot of magic, they talk about doing the right phase of the moon, waxing and waning, new moon, full moon. If you are not halfway schooled with astrology, it can be confusing and it can take away from your abilities. Number 20, and the second most important thing, is be creative. Absolutely be creative. And I'm talking about writing poetry, cooking, painting, doing artwork. Um, these are very, very important. Poetry is important because if you're going to write an incantation, well, an incantation is a form of poetry. People like to do ABA, rhyme schemes, 3-line stanzas in their poems and their incantations. Cooking. Well, if you are going to do potions, if you are going to be a hedge witch and such, you need to be comfortable in the kitchen. And so if you're not comfortable in the kitchen, your ability, your skills in witchcraft and such will be diminished. Painting. We need to have a concept and a connection with our artwork. Now, in witchcraft and in paganism, we have sigils. And this is where we are using artistic skills to build things. You want to build a wand? Well, you need to have some art skills. I suggest painting, but really any creative skills that you can have to build things is important because, like I'm saying, if you cannot create with your hands and your mind, your ability to cast spells, to perform rituals and such will not be good. So I hope that my 20 tips here are helpful for everybody. Again, some of these are going to work great for you. Some of these are going to be hard for you, and it takes practice. And by doing these, you get to learn about just what type of person you are. Okay? So everybody take care. Be at peace.